Hi there everyone, Andrew Roberts here. Welcome to this week's vlog, and this week we're going to actually talk about you, and I want to talk to you about you reaching your potential. Now, I'm going to give you some certain elements and some certain tools that you can use, and that's coming up. But before I do, I just want to point out something really interesting, because if you go into nature, you'll find that something might be planted in the ground, a seedling's planted in the ground, and it's destined to blossom into its full potential, okay? So it could be a flower, it could be a tree, but it's actually designed to allow nature to take over and for it to blossom. And humans are exactly the same. We're actually destined to grow into something amazing. But the challenge is we get out in our own way. And there's the saying, if you kick the person in the backside responsible for most of our problems, you wouldn't sit down for a week. So let's just look at this thing, potential, because just really simply, this black dot represents where you're currently at, your current reality. And I know every time I ask this question, if I got you to raise your hand, if it was in an audience, people raise their hands and I ask, who knows they've got more potential? Everyone raises their hand when I ask that. So if you like, this is where you see your potential. There's this gap. So that's where your potential lies. I'll just write potential in there. But here's something really interesting. It's actually way, way bigger than you even think it is. Because we don't even recognize and are not aware of our own potential. You're not actually aware of what you're capable of. And that's what your perceived potential is. Your actual potential is way, way bigger than what you even understand and know. And this is what I get so passionate about in the work that we do here, is we help people start recognizing what they're capable of. And so there's a few tools here which I'll read out which will really, really help you learn how to tap into your potential. And the first thing is seriously finding a mentor or a coach or someone that will believe more in you than what you do in yourself. And so many people think, oh yeah, but it's got to spend money. It's like, how much does it cost you by not understanding this? Because the right person will always see more in you than what you do in yourself. Secondly, we need to also get really excited about the future. Now, I've done another blog on this, on abundance, but in order to recognize your potential, you have to get fully excited about the possibility of what you can do in the future and start building enormous belief and confidence and faith that you can do more. Thirdly, we need to then focus on what it is that we want. So I've also spoken about this before too. We need to exhaust what we don't want and put all our energy towards what we want, because obstacles are what we see when we take our eyes off the goal. So we've got to get really clear on what we want. And the fourth little tip, really, really simple, but we need to start feeding our brain with positive stuff. If you can imagine a tree that's planted, you can either feed it with negativity, pesticide, or nutrients. And which one's going to grow and blossom at the faster rate? Of course, it's the one that's feeding itself with the positivity. And this is why what's going into your mind is what comes out of it. So the more you work on yourself, the more you change what you're fueling in here, the better the outcome will be out there. So really stop watching news. And I see people watching these CSI shows and stuff just before going to bed, and it's like, what's that doing to your mind, your thinking? Whereas if you flip it and start feeding it with positive information and reading good stories and stories about people that have gone out there and done amazing things in their lives, will have an amazing effect. So they're just 4 little ideas, but it does start with you also believing in you. Okay, when I was taught, Andrew, no one else will believe in you until you do. So recognize that you have this enormous potential and understands that it's way, way bigger than you think, Would really love to hear comments and other ways that we can work on recognizing our potential below. So please make a comment below, share with us your ideas, that maybe some things that you've done to recognize and to seek or see your actual potential.